Vine happily enters in Jungkook's house. Ah, it's been so long I have last seen him. Excitement was clearly visible on her face. She got engaged to Jungkook 10 months ago. His father engaged him with his friend's daughter. They lived in France, but then Jungkook settled his business in Korea. Jungkook was in his room on call when the servant came and informed him about Vine's arrival, making him shocked. Who came? Before the servant said anything, Vine entered the room. Surprise! Vine said with happiness and excitement in her voice. What are you doing here? He asked, folding his arms on his chest. You didn't look so happy to see me. I came from far away only to meet you, and you also said you need to talk something important with me, she said while coming closer to him. She was feeling tired after a long journey, but still standing in front of him with a smile on her face.
I want to talk to you, but you should have informed me before coming. His tone was still cold. What did you want to talk about? Her happiness shattered in a second. Jungkook was always like this. He can easily spoil her happiness and mood in a second. I really like this about you, that you came to the point without any further talk. He said while looking at her facial expression. He knows that she will be hurt badly hearing what he is going to say. Well, you at least like something about me. A glint of sadness showed in her voice. You know that my dad wanted me to marry you, so he engaged me to you. But I don't want to marry you. That's why I want to end this relationship. He stopped when he saw tears running down from her eyes. Did you like someone else? She asked with a heavy heart. No, it's nothing like that. I just didn't want to get married right now, he said, avoiding Vian's gaze. He himself don't know why he feels the need to explain to her. But when did I say to get married right now? We will get married when you want. If you want to spend your whole life like this, I don't have any problem. I just want that this ring always stays in my hand. I don't want to lose you, she said while holding his hand. Jungkook didn't know why this girl loved him so much. She deserved much better, but she is just mad about him. I don't want to have any relationship with you. Why can't you understand, Vaina? He said with little anger, jerking her hand. His heart can't tolerate her tears. Why? Am I that bad, yet that you don't want any relationship with me? For God's sakes, Vine, stop crying, he shouted, seeing her tears. She flinched and took one step back from him. I said I don't want anything between us. I end this relationship right now, right here. He took off his ring and placed it on the table. I really love you, Jungkook. Her face became red because of crying for long. But I don't or never will, so it's better for you to go back and find someone better for yourself, he said back facing her. But I will die without you, she said with a broken voice. Nobody died for someone. You will be better after some time. I am telling the truth. I will really die without you, she mumbles in low voice. Jungkook, who was waiting for her answer, looks back on a third sound, and his eyes become wide, seeing Vine unconscious on the floor. Vine was lying unconscious on the bed. The doctor said that nothing serious happened. She just became unconscious because of tension. Jungkook was sitting on the sofa with a lowered head, looking at his hands. He was deep in his thoughts. You are creating difficulties from me. If you don't go, you will see my side which I don't want to show you, he said while looking at her. Vine's body showed movement as she began to regain her consciousness. Opening her eyes slowly, she looked confusedly at the unknown room. It was not her room, but then she remembered her coming to Korea to meet Jungkook, his rejection, and her unconsciousness. She immediately sat straight. Then her eyes fell on Jungkook, who was glaring at her. He came toward her with long steps, pulled her face closer to him by holding her nape. You will go back by today's flight, and I don't like to repeat my words, he ordered, looking in her teary eyes. Vine was just looking at him with complaint in her eyes. Jungkook wanted to avoid her gaze, but he could not stop looking at her beautiful eyes. You said you broke the engagement, so why would I follow your order? You don't have any right on me. Jungkook becomes speechless. You came here to meet me. If something happened to you, I'm the one who will be answerable to your parents. You don't need to worry. Nobody will ask anything from you. Even if I die here, my parents will not be excuse you. Stop saying nonsense. My driver will take you to the airport, Jungkook said, stepping back. There's no need for that. I will go back by myself, and it's up to me how long I want to stay in Korea. Vine said with stubborn attitude and stands up from the bed. He frowned at her stubborn behavior. He pulls her toward him, grabbing her both arms. You didn't get what I am saying. He was in last stage of his anger. Leave. I said leave me. Vine pushes him with all her strength and left the room crying, leaving. restless Jungkook. Where are you going? Jungkook came after her and asked. She ignored him and walks away. My driver will take you to airport. Who said I will go to the airport? Without any further talk, he grabbed her arms and dragged her toward the room. What are you doing? Leave me. She struggles in his grip. He leaves her hand after taking her to the room. If you want to go back to France, then you can go. Otherwise, stay in this room. You are not allowed to go outside. Why would I listen to you? I don't want to leave here, she shouted. He grabbed her wrist and pinned her against the wall. It's impossible to get out of here without my will. I will drop you at the airport myself. Till then, stay here. He left, locking the room. Jungkook was working on his laptop in his office, but his mind was thinking about Vine. I have to send Vine from here as soon as possible, otherwise that stupid girl will be in danger. He is aware of the great risk involved in his work. That's why he wants to send Vine away from her. But that stubborn lady. If his father didn't force him, he would not have done this engagement. What should I do that she will go back? I don't want to hurt her, but I know I already did. This girl will make me go insane. Then his friend Taehyung entered the room. Hey dude, guess what? I got engaged just like you. By the way, when will you get married? I'm not engaged anymore. I broke the engagement with Vine. Nothing will change even if you broke the engagement, because she will always be in your heart, he said casually like he knows Jungkook's secret. Who said that she is in my heart? You never stutter, even if you kill someone, like how you stuttered while saying that. Stop giving pain to yourself and her. Respect her feelings before she leaves you, otherwise you will regret it later. I wish I can knock some sense into your brain and you will come to your senses, he said, mocking him. I don't think you are my friend, he said, sulking. I want to shame you a little so that you may be a little ashamed. You know it's impossible, so it's futile to try. Vines love you a lot. Appreciate her love. You won't find a girl like her again. I know what you are afraid of, but trust yourself. I'm sure you will not let anything happen to Vine, he said, patting his shoulder. He left, leaving Jungkook in deep thoughts. Jungkook had never told him why he didn't want to marry Vine, but being his good friend, he understood his problem. Jungkook pressed his forehead with his hand. Then he goes to attend an important meeting. Maids enter in the room with food. She placed it on the table and left. Vine didn't even touch the food. The thought of leaving him made her heart shatter into pieces. She didn't want to go back. She knows very well that once he came back, he will directly take her to the airport. Vine was unaware that everything Jungkook did was just to protect her. She tried to open the door, but to her surprise, the door was already open. Her eyes sparkled. She tiptoed and came out of the room. Seeing no one around the house, she started to walk out the house. On the other hand, Jungkook was busy in meeting, so he kept his phone off. After the meeting, he saw many missed calls of his guard on his phone. He immediately called back. What happened? Why there's so many calls? Is everything okay in the house? Sir, Vine madam gone from house. She said that it's an emergency. She needs to go to the hospital urgently to see her friend. I dialed your number to ask you, but it was off. She said she already take permission from you, and if we didn't let her go, something might have happened to her friend. He was listening to him with clenched jaw. He knows she don't have any friend in Korea. How long has it been since she left home? He asked sternly. It's been 20 minutes, sir. Send some guards after her. If anything happens to her, you guys are out of luck. Vine, you have made a big mistake. If anything bad happens to you, I swear the first thing I will do is squeeze your throat with my own hands. He then hurriedly went out of his office to find her. Vine successfully ran from Jungkook house, but now she didn't know where she go, as she don't know anyone else other than Jungkook in this country. She also forgets to take her purse with him. She was now walking on the streets. It's been 5 hours now, and it was going to be night soon. Hey beautiful, where are you going? She was walking when she heard someone's voice from behind. She looked behind and saw two drunk men behind her. Fear aroused in her. She started walking speedily. Sweat started forming on her forehead. Did I make a mistake by leaving home alone? She asked herself in her mind. Hey, stop. She was fully scared by now, so she started running without any further thought. But to her bad luck, she tripped and fell down, causing her ankle sprained and bruise on her elbow. Who are you? she asked, frightened by seeing them coming closer. The girl is amazing, he said to his fellow. Let me go, please. She was crying mess. We didn't even lay a hand on you, but you are already asking to let you go. They both laughed at her. She started to slide back with fear in her eyes. Struggling, she somehow manages to stand up when suddenly someone pulls her by her waist and turns her around. A scream left her mouth and she froze on her spot seeing Jungkook in front of her. Seeing Jungkook's well-built and muscular body and the group of guards behind him, the both men ran away from their life as they bravely flew away like a wind. Vine gulps seeing him angry, but deep down she feels relaxed seeing him here. I forbid you. Then why you came out of the house? He held her arm. Vine whimpers due to pain. He saw her wounded elbow. She was not even able to properly stand up due to sprained ankle. Jungkook picked her up in her arms and goes toward his car. She looked at him with teary eyes. He made her sit on the passenger seat and drive the car. After some time, car stopped with a jerk. He came toward Vine's side, took her in his arms, and enters in the apartment. Instead of going home, he took her to his nearby apartment. Jungkook, she tried to say something when he harshly dropped her on the couch. Did you have any idea what would have happened with you? Are you a child? Can't you understand that if I stop you from leaving the house alone, there must be something serious? He was stressed, thinking what if his enemy came to know about Vine or did any harm to her. Why are you becoming angry on me? I am in so much pain and you are also shouting on me. She complained to him, which made him lightly smile for a second by seeing her complaining like a little child while crying. Jungkook hovered above her, which made her lean back as there was a little distance between them. Do you think I will shower you with love and appreciation after what have you done? That Vine, madam, you did a good job running from home, he said, mocking her. Whatever, she was not ready to accept her mistake. You will regret a lot when I will not be with you. She tried her best not to cry. Something twisted in Jungkook's heart. She goes toward the room while limping. He goes behind her to help her, but she shut the door on his face. She tried to stay in hotel instead of living with him, but he threatens her to tell her dad about her earlier stupidity because he can't risk her safety. Her dad is very strict and possessive about her. He will not easily forgive her mistake for putting herself in danger. After some time, Jungkook opened the door slowly and entered with the first aid box in his hand. He looks toward the bed and sees her sleeping while curling on the bed. He sits behind her sleeping figure and applies medicine on her ankle and on her elbow. You are very innocent. I want to keep you away from me, but now you came under my enemy's eyes. He will go to any extent to hurt you. I know I greatly hurt you with my words. Please, if it's possible, forgive me. He leans and slowly placed his lip on her forehead. He made her lie properly and covered her with blanket and leaves the room. Jungkook is most successful businessman in Korea, but he also has lot of enemies who wants to take the fame and position from him. He was attacked several times by his enemies. They always tried to find his weakness to blackmail him, and Vine would be best option for them. Next morning, Vine woke up with a headache. She saw bandages on her elbow and her ankle was also much better. On door opening sound, she looked at the door where Jungkook was standing. Come with me. Where? For some fresh air. I don't want to go, and my feet hurt anyway. First, we will go to the doctor then. I don't have any dress with me. Her dress was damaged due to last night incident, and her suitcase was in Jungkook's house, as they were now in his apartment. Jungkook goes to the other room and came back with the dress in his hands, which he gives to her. Seeing her every attempt fail to not go, she just snatched it from his hand and goes to freshen up. He thought she would ask whose dress is it, but she didn't, which made him little disappointed. Why didn't? She is asking something. After some time, Vine came out of bathroom. She just ignores him and start doing her hair. Later they both go to the hospital. After proper checkup,
When Jungkook took her for shopping, he brushed her hair to freshen up her mood, but Vine didn't show any interest. What did you want to buy? Nothing. Are you ignoring me? Shouldn't I? I want to go home. She jerked his hand and walks ahead. They both came back to apartment. The whole ride was silent. None of them said anything. Vine was feeling hungry, so she came in the kitchen. The problem is that she can't cook, and she don't want to say to Jungkook. She takes some vegetables and tried to cut them by placing them on the table. What should I make? I don't know anything. If a person took someone to the market, he should have taken her to lunch. But he only knows how to be angry. She was angrily chopping the onion when she cut her finger. Hearing her scream, Jungkook, who was sitting in the lounge, ran toward the kitchen. What happened to you? Are you okay? He asked, being worried. Then his eyes landed on cut on her finger, from where blood was flowing. Where were your focus? Look, what did you do? He bandaged her finger and looked at her, who was crying, holding her hand. You know how to cook? She shook her head in response. Then what were you doing in the kitchen? Dance, she said, annoyed. Why didn't you take me to the restaurant for lunch after shopping? I didn't even eat breakfast. You know very well that I can't cook. She was glaring at him with flared nostrils, causing a little smile appeared on his lips. Relax, Vine. I'm so sorry. I forgot that you might be hungry. You sit here. I will cook for you. How did your behavior change so suddenly? She was confused that how did he change overnight? His facial expression changed on her question. Maybe I realized. Realize what? She asked, not understanding. When you ran from home, I was so much afraid that I might not see you again. I was feeling restless when I hurt you with my words, and I didn't like when you ignored me. Sighing heavily, he continued talking. I was running away from you, thinking, what if I couldn't protect you? I have so many enemies. My family is also got attacked. That's why I shifted them out of country. I don't want the same happen with you. She was aware of what happened to his family. For this reason you were running away from me. You should have talked to me once. It's not necessary that same thing will happen with me. You should have trusted yourself. How can you think like that? But she didn't know that it was not just a mere fear. To see your loved ones in danger is the biggest fear in the world. I'm sorry. You don't have to say sorry. You sit, I will cook something for you, he said, patting her cheeks softly. You know how to cook? After seeing many dishes on the table, she was amazed. I cooked all these. That's mean I know how to cook. You could have answered directly. He made her sit on the chair and served the food. Vine was continuously looking at his face. Stop looking at me. You can look at me as much as you want after eating. She immediately shifted her gaze to his plate. After eating, they went to lunch.
Whole week passed by like this. Vine didn't even properly talk to him. Jungkook was now regretting. Did I lose her? He was battling with himself in his mind. He see Vina watching TV in lounge, so he sits behind her. He was gathering courage to say something to her. So, Vine, will you marry me? He said in one breath, feeling nervous. She somehow became shocked but composed herself. But now I don't want to marry. You rejected me, so why would I marry you now? She said with attitude, teasing him. Didn't you said that you loved me? What happened? Does your love vanish overnight? He scoffed. He pulled her closer to his chest by her waist, feeling his breath on her neck. She wiggles in his embrace. He made her look at him, holding her chin, and slowly capture her lips in his. Wine start start Wine heart started to beat rapidly. She was not expecting this from him.